I love when they update things and things change. There we go. Record. 2 courses for the VN. Good. Did you guys just get a message that said it was recording in progress? Record settings. Yes. Okay, good. Because I didn't hear it, but usually when I hit record, there's a message that goes out that says it's being recorded. Okay. And that's so that other students can see it if they couldn't be here. I usually go and post it. Let's see. Which one? Is that the one I want? I think that's okay. What do you see on your screen right now? Does it say recent announcements?
Yes.
Good. Okay, thank you. That's not the screen I want. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so what I wanted to show you is kind of walk you through, welcome, first of all, growth and development across the lifespan for the healthcare professional. This class is about growth and development. It is very similar to Psych 25. You can also take that as a prereq for the nursing courses or other courses that you might need, other programs that you might need. But this particular class is one that I helped develop that actually is focused on the healthcare professional. So a lot of the exercises, activities, things that we're doing, the readings, things are geared towards you if you are going into a healthcare profession. So it's not just like basically memorizing Erickson and Piaget's developmental stages. It's a lot of application type of things. And I've actually tried to condense the assignments, not make so many assignments. So that's why I don't have the whole course posted yet because it's going to be less work than it was if somebody took it last summer, which is a good thing for you guys, I guess. But when you come to hopefully people are familiar with Canvas. When you come to your course, I'm going to use the 4010, 4011 section. I think the 4008, 09, it should look pretty much the same. But I'm going to use the 4010 one. Yep, there we go. So what happens when you come to the page are announcements. Now, I usually post a lot of announcements. I post little reminders. I post updates. Like I posted the announcement saying that the Sully Sesh was in like 20 minutes in case people forgot or still needed the link. There's a welcome to the class, welcome to week one uh, announcement there. So those will always show up first on your home page. This will take you to your home page. Excuse me, I don't put modules as my homepage. I put whatever we're studying for the week as my homepage, and then you can go to the modules on your left-hand sidebar to find what the work is for that week, although it does show up at the bottom of the page as well. So there is, a welcome introduction. This will take you, I have a YouTube channel that has a lot of the lectures from previous courses, years that I've taught on all the topics. I also have a Pinterest page that you can go to if you want to look at things there. This is basically the course outline, tells you about communication, how to get a hold of me. A lot of you have already emailed me through Canvas, which is great. The way that I respond best is if you use the chat. So not necessarily the chat for your section, your group, but if you message me directly from the chat, it goes right to my phone and I see it right away and usually respond pretty quickly. I think there's some people that have already done that and I've responded pretty quickly. If you email me, it generally takes me a little bit longer to get there, but I eventually get there. In here is the link to in each of your sections, it will take you to the discussion. You do have 2 separate discussions depending on your section, but I will also post the link in an announcement as well. This is an online course. So we are meeting what we call distance education. And so it's up to you to make the course. I will do my best to make things kind of fun and interesting as much as I can in an online course, but checking in frequently, setting your you have settings for like when I post announcements or when those kind of things or when you get feedback on assignments. And so I would say definitely set your notifications so that you see when things are coming through right away. Or if we have a discussion, you can set your notifications to see when other students have posted a discussion post or replied to your discussion post. So I would say definitely set your set your notifications. This is not a discussion heavy online course. So I think there's two, maybe three discussions over the 8 weeks. But you want to check in, you want to stay on top of the reading and assignments as much as possible. There are quizzes. The quizzes, it will tell you in the syllabus, will open up about noonish on Thursdays, and you have, I think, till midnight on Sunday, either Saturday or Sunday, I think Sunday, to complete the quiz. You get two chances, and you get the highest score available, that the highest score that you earn on that. What I will tell you, if you would like to score the most points, pay attention, you listening? Listen, is take the first one. There's no time limit on them, right? So you could take as long as you want on the quiz. So if it were me, I would take the quiz the first time, do the best that I can. But if I'm struggling, like I would take notes. I would maybe even write the question down and then go to find the information in the reading or somewhere and then take it again. Don't just go right back in and take it the second time. If you get like 9 points the first time and you want to get the 10 points, like go back and do research so that for sure you get the 10 points. I will try to give feedback, but I don't always get to that first. I'm not always checking to see that first time to give you feedback, if that makes sense. So that's my best advice. If you want to get the 10 points, it's 10 points per week on the quizzes. Week 8 is 20 points, and it's cumulative over all of the 7-8 weeks of content that there are. Does that make sense? Somebody say yes, heads up, thumbs up, somebody do something. Okay. You guys know how to do thumbs up and all that kind of thing? Maybe that's okay. Or somebody say yes. Sarah, somebody say yes. You get the quizzes. Does that make sense? Okay. If not, let me know. Message me. Oh, there we go. Chat. My chat just blew up. There we go. Yes, 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 yes. Thumbs up. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'll check my chats more often. There we go. Okay. So turn the assignments in on time. You usually have at least a week to turn in an assignment. Sometimes, like for the capstone, you have a couple, and I'll talk about that. You have a couple weeks for that. You can work ahead, but it's kind of easier to work each week at a time. But there's nothing that says you can't work ahead. But if there's discussions, it's better to stay in the moment and work it in real time. I did say there was a quiz. Best way to get a hold of me is through the chats, the Google Space chats. I respond pretty quickly. I do have Zoom office hours. So I think I was saying in the beginning, I don't know if people heard, I'm in Florida for the summer. I just was at a nursing conference, an AWON nursing conference, which is Association of Women's Health, Obstetrics, and Neonatal Nursing. So mom, baby stuff. So I was here for a couple of days for that, and then we're spending the rest of the summer here. So the times that I'm posting are your time, are California times, right? Because most of you are probably in California. So 9 to noon on Mondays and Thursdays from 4 to 7. But if none of those times work for you, message me and we can make an appointment and fit it into both our schedules. So I encourage people to make appointments. If you have questions, I'd rather answer the question and make sure you get the right information so you don't have to do an assignment again or not get the full points on the assignment. Sometimes if I feel like students are really struggling with a particular thing, I might call a Sully Sesh like I did for tonight, and just do open hours or something like that. So I try to be as available as possible to answer questions. I try to make it as much a low stress, high learning environment as possible. Get to know each other. The chat is a great way to do that. The discussions are a great way to do that. We also have learning groups, which learning pods, which I will tell you about here in a minute. You may have already seen some of those. What else can I tell you? So there are certain modules. You click on only week 1 and week 2 are open right now. So you can click on those, or you can go over here on the left side to get to the modules. There is a copy of the syllabus here. Now, I always post my first syllabus as a draft because inevitably somebody tells me, some student finds some discrepancy or there was a date, like somebody it might have even be Heather, I can't remember who it was that noticed there was a discrepancy on the Zoom date. Like it was supposed to be Wednesday, but I think it said the 9th, which was like a Tuesday or something like that. So that's why I post a draft. If you guys find mistakes, let me know. But the information that you need for the course is in the syllabus, and we'll come back around to that. And then there's just a page that gives you some information about my history and my bio. There's my dog Petunia, who's with me here, and I do local theater. So there's a couple pictures of me doing theater. So I'm a real person. I'm not a bot. Um, and the syllabus. Let's look at that. Hopefully yeah, there we go. Is here. Um, Mostly dull and boring things. Um, this is how you get to my office hours. You click on the link. It's also in Canvas as well. I'm really here to facilitate. I want you guys to learn, right? And do the best that you can. And give you as many resources as I can. I don't use textbooks. I use open educational resources, so there's not a cost to the student. And I have those links available for you in the modules, which we'll go over next. And then the course description, the objectives, these are all also in pause. We're going to go from preconception through death and dying and everything in between. So that's all the content that we have in the course. Adolescence, young adulthood. So we're not just doing childhood development. A lot of students think, oh, this is just childhood development, but there's also a lot of adult development theories and theories of retirement and theories of aging and things like that. So those are really important as well. So we will go through the entire lifespan with that. And we'll also talk about communication, about government influences on healthcare. This is a lecture course, not a lab course. I do a lot of different activities to help evaluate your learning. All the policies and procedures in this course fall under the nursing and health sciences policies and procedures. So you do have links to those in your modules. We celebrate diversity, so please do that with your classmates. Learn from each other, right? You all bring so many experiences from all over. So it's really great to learn from each other. And then our learning community guidelines, be respectful, assume goodwill from everybody. You all have your own opinions, your own beliefs. Trust and respect is expected. Always go back to the syllabus. It will probably answer some question that you have. And then it's Canvas. It's an online course, so try to be in the course as much as you can. I do check periodically to see how much time students are spending in the course, and sometimes I'll send a little reminder or check in, like to see how you're doing if I see that you've not spent a lot of time in the course. These are also the drop dates for summer. So for this particular course, the last day to drop without a grade would be the 23rd of June. So in about 2 weeks. If there was for some reason you didn't like the course or whatever, wanted to drop it, the 23rd would be the last day to drop without a grade. I don't know if you're familiar with, the college has what are called student learning outcomes. So every course that you're in, you should see student learning outcomes. Side note, I'm actually the student learning outcome coordinator for the college, for Hartnell College as a whole. So I'm always looking at SLOs for everything. For this particular course, you're going to apply the knowledge by creating a capstone, in this case, individual project, and hopefully earning a grade of C or better. And then you're also going to complete a paper on a health promotion topic for a chosen developmental age group. So what I've done is I've actually combined those two SLOs into one project. So you're not doing like double work on things. So it'll just be one capstone project that will incorporate both of those. As I said, there's quizzes, open at noon on Thursdays, close 11:59 on Sundays, 2 attempts, earn the highest score, as much time as you need to take those. Policy in nursing and health sciences, 10% of the points, total points are deducted for each day the assignment is late. You must complete all the assignments to pass the course. We do not do extra credit assignments, and no rounding up of points. What you earn is what you earn. And then I have also put in the weekly, the focus, like what we're going to talk about, and then the assignments. So if you want to know the assignments, they're in the syllabus, the points are there. And so, for example, the Google Class chat, which many of you have done already, and then hopefully once I post the link again, then other people will get in there. You just have to say hi. That's all you have to do. Say hi, how's it going? Have a great summer. I'm in Florida. I'm doing whatever. You just have to respond. You don't even have to respond to another classmate, although you're welcome to do so. And you earn 5 points for that. And so the due date is what would be tonight at midnight. But I know people have been struggling, so don't worry about it. Just get it done as soon as you can. And then there's your first 5 points. I've already graded some of them, so some of you have already even earned 5 points for the class. And so we'll talk about the learning pods. There's also a syllabus review. I'll show you. Some of you, I think, have already done that as well. We'll go over that. And then it just walks you through week by week. Does that make sense? You know where to look to find assignments, what the points are. And then as each module opens up, you'll see all of that information again as well. Yeah, the chat would be great. Tell me yes, thumbs up, yes, 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 yes. Thank you. Okay. Then I feel like I'm not just talking to myself. Yay. Okay. The other place you can find the syllabus is on the left-hand side over here under syllabus. And that again has my information. That's where you can find the link to my student hours. And then the syllabus is here. I'll post a separate page that has just the assignments and the grading. And then I also have a syllabus that you can access on your phone or tablet. And I have to update that just a little bit, and then I'll post that link there as well. Okay, so we talked about that. You know about assignments. We talked about the course a little bit, what to expect. The to-do list, we'll tell you things that are due. These are the things that are due during the first 2 weeks. I'll go to the modules next and show you, so everybody's clear on that. You should have, let's see, announcements, syllabus, modules, people. I know you all want to look at grades, right? You all want to see your grades. So that's there as well. Let's do modules. So you will notice that, don't want to go there yet, or there yet. There we go. Actually, let me try view as a student. Oh, it's not going to let me do it, is it? Trying to do it the way that, there we go. Oh yeah, because I did go in. All right, so if you're looking at this would be your view. I try to do it from a student view. There is the Start Here Welcome module. This tells you the welcome, which is pretty much the same thing that we looked at already, gives you information about me, talks about technology resources and course support. So like if you need IT help, you can contact IT, tells you how to be respectful in an online course. The Success in an Accelerated Online Course, I think, is a good page to look at, because you have to remember that these courses over the summer are usually taught as 16-week courses. And so we're shrinking them down to 8-week courses. And something that I learned, and I'm hoping that you will benefit from, is that it's one thing to shrink a 16-week course into an 8-week course, right? And just double the time on everything. Or you can make a 16-week course into an 8-week course and not double everything, like make it more pertinent to an 8-week time frame, but still cover everything, if that makes sense. So generally what that means is less assignments, which I think you all would probably love, especially those of you that are taking 2 or 3 courses over the summer. And so the things to look at, there's little buttons, and you click on the button, fingers crossed that it takes me where I want it to go. Yes. And so it talks about, benefits of an online course. It's great. You can take, you have, the time is for you. I'm hoping that you all succeed. So, try to get a hold of me if you have questions. So just click on those buttons. Time expectations, I did want to go over that because that's another thing that students kind of aren't familiar with. So it is a 3-unit course, And so you should be planning, because it's a 3-unit course. It's still 3 units, even though it's 8 weeks. You should then plan for approximately 18 hours of course engagement per week. So if you're taking 2 or 3 courses that are also 3 units or even more, that's also going to be the expectation for those courses as well. Now, are you going to actually spend 18 hours? Probably not. But it would be, if you were doing it in a 16-week course, it would be 3 hours per week. So now it's 6 hours per week of what lecture would be. So I kind of just like divided it out how you would be spending your time, and then compared it to the 16 or the 16-week courses. So there's that. So you guys can look at that on your own time. But the things that you need to be successful, how to get a hold of me, that kind of thing. The other thing that's important, we talked about late work already, 10% per day. However, I am implementing something this summer to see how students like it. And so we're not really allowed to do extra credit. It's supposed to be 10% deduction per day late. But what I'm going to offer for this summer is with something called the Sully Flex Pass. You get a Flex Pass. And so each student can use one Flex Pass to submit one assignment up to 2 days late, 48 hours late, without a late penalty, or to request a one-time 48-hour extension on an eligible assignment. So you can either turn it in late, or for an assignment, you could say, hey, can I get an extension on it? It's kind of the same thing, but it depends. You can also, so every student already has in their tool belt one Flex Pass, just for being here and signing up for the class. All right, so you already have that. Yay! Applause. But you can also earn an additional Flex Pass, which is optional. But if you would like the option, again, at any point in time in the semester, you can participate in an approved course engagement opportunity like instructor office hours. You can make an appointment with me. Make an appointment. We talk about stuff. You get another Flex Pass opportunity. Sometimes the learning pod activities are every other week. So sometimes if there's an extra something that happens, you could earn an extra Flex Pass for that. If you come to a Sully Sesh, say I throw a Sully Sesh unannounced and somebody shows up to that, this one does not count because this is the initial one. You could earn a Flex Pass for that. Or if I think of something, or if you think of something, that you think would be a good opportunity, let me know. So everybody does have that. Thank you, Yasmin. Have that opportunity available. I figured that was one way to do that. You can only get, the max is two Flex Passes. You can't use them for a quiz. Quizzes are quizzes. And the capstone submission, the final submission due date remains the final submission due date. So that would actually be for the paper and the project. That date does not change. That's in week 8. However, you have every other week checkpoints. You could use it for that. And let me know. And flexibility, right? Those are important things. What else can I tell you? Let's see. So we talked about that. And then meet your learning pod. One of the things that I found over the past couple summers that I've taught this class is that students really were asking for more student engagement. However, they weren't asking for projects, because what student likes to do projects and what student likes to do projects online. It's kind of like nobody wants, and group projects, like who wants to do a discussion every week? Nobody wants to do a discussion every week, I don't think. They didn't say that. They just wanted more interaction. So what I basically came up with is something called a learning pod. They've already been assigned. If you go to the, well, I'll tell you here in a second. So it's basically a place to connect with other students. It's the same students. You'll be in the same group of 4 or 5 students for the whole semester. And there's a couple activities that you do. Any work that you produce is individual work. So any pod activity is not a group activity per se. You're doing it as a group, but you're turning in individual work. So that's usually a plus, because it's not, one person isn't doing all the work and one person isn't never doing all the work. You're all doing your own work. You're just helping learn and contribute with each other. Um, and it's not meant to create extra work. It's just a place to talk to each other, to learn. And that's up to you how you want to do it. You can phone call, you can Zoom, you can chat, you can, I don't know, if y'all live in Salinas or something, you could get together at Starbucks. It's however your group wants to get together. There is Canvas automatically assigns a group leader, but that doesn't mean that they're like in charge of everything. It's just so that there's like a group leader assigned. And then you do have a home page. Each little pod has a home page in case you would need that, or I was going to post anything for the pods, could post it there. Um, they're not group projects. Everything remains individual grading, but you can share ideas, that kind of thing. So what you're going to do is on the course navigation menu on the left-hand side, when you go to people, and let's see if, I don't know if it's going to let me do it because I don't think I'm assigned. No, see, it doesn't show up for me because I'm not assigned to a pod. So hold on, let me leave the student view. Didn't assign myself to one of your pods. I suppose I can. No, I don't think I show up on the list. So you should be able to go to a tab, and if anybody's on right now and can try doing it to let me know if it works, it should work. But you should go. Oh, and Melanie's in there because Melanie joined our class. I will add you to a pod. So for example, Learning Pod 1 is Floor, Ashley, Yesenia, the other Ashley, and Heather. So Heather's here. And so you would be able to visit your group homepage if you wanted. You could message each other. You can add activities, things in there if you wanted. That doesn't, yes, it does. And then Melanie, let me add you. I'll put you in pod 5. There we go. So everybody should be in a learning pod. Does that make sense? Let me see. Somebody has chatted me. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, it works. Daniela, thank you. Yay. And so this is a way that that you go in and you can talk to each other. Dulce, yay. And that's your little family, I guess, if you will. Support each other, ask questions there. You know, if you're going to meet, you can invite me if your group has questions. I'm happy to come by and say hi. But I want to get your feedback on this. See if you like this and having a little more student interaction. That's sort of more low stress, high learning type of interaction, is the hope behind it. What else was I going to show you? Okay, course. Let's see. So we got through all of that. Okay, so course resources and policies. So if you go and click on that link, I really tried to get the links down in my courses too, because they're usually pretty link heavy. So I really tried to lessen as much information coming at you all. So you've got the syllabus we looked at, that's there. Let's take a look at the textbooks. So this is where you would go to get your textbooks. You download all of them, so you have access on your computer or your system to use them. And so this list right here is your list of textbooks. And as you go through each module, and I'll show you, it'll tell you read Child, Family, and Community chapters 3, 4, 5, and 6, something like that. Now, these chapters are not like 40-page chapters because these are all like ebooks. So it's fairly condensed. But these are your textbooks right here. So I would go to each one. Let's see, we'll just go to Child, Family, and Community, and let me know if the links don't work for you, because sometimes they work on my end and not your end. So if you find that one isn't opening up, but for example, here's Child, Family, and Community by Laff and Ruiz. And then I might say, you know, read chapter 5. What is family? So you go into chapter 5. What is family? You click on it. It gives you the learning objectives. Talks about diversity and parent development. Right. So that's that page. Diversity of families. Right. Is however long that is. That's that chapter right there. Parent development was the next part of that. And there's the parent development chapter right there. So that's how the OER open educational resources work in this class. anyway, I don't know if you've been in other classes that use open educational resources, but I really like them for this class, especially. And then I'm not teaching chapter by chapter. I'm teaching by objectives, right? I can go objective by objective instead of chapter by chapter. Um, let's see. Oops. Let me go. We did that. We did that. Make sure that other link works. Hey, girl. It's hot right now. Yes, I know. Questions on that? Does that make sense? That's how you get to your textbooks. Um, we do use 7th edition APA formatting in this class, although most of the time I say MLA is okay because a lot of you have used MLA formatting. And sometimes I say it doesn't even matter because I hate taking off points because you forgot to capitalize or indent something. I'd rather know what you're thinking and what your thought process is. And then I believe I have the links fixed to that. Yes, to the nursing and health sciences information, so the handbook, policy and procedure manual, that's all there. And what else? I don't think I fixed the link for this, but I will, maybe I did. Did I? Ooh, I did. Yay me. Okay, every once in a while I surprise myself. I have to make sure I did it at both Canvas courses though. So this is the capstone project that I've been talking about. So yes, you're going to have some assignments that are due throughout the weeks. There's every other week is a learning pod activity. Every other week is a capstone checkpoint. And then you have the final capstone. So this basically lays out all the information for you. I do have it actually broken down into subsets for the points. So you might see some things changing, but this is the overall description for it. And so what you're going to do is to look at in doing this cumulative project throughout the semester, you're going to choose one of the developmental stages that we're talking about. So it could be infant, it could be toddler, adolescent, it could be adult. I have taken preconception or prenatal or death and dying, but I think those are harder to do in terms of education, but maybe not. So if you're interested in either one of those, let me know. And so you're going to choose a developmental population and a health topic. So maybe for I'm trying to think, for infants, a health topic might be safe sleep, right? Like a back to sleep campaign. You want to educate people on that. And I'm just using that as an example. So you would look at factors that influence growth and development and why safe sleep would be important based on what babies are or not able to do as infants. So like they can't roll over, right? So if they're on their stomach, it's hard for them to roll over. And you are going to design an evidence-based, evidence-informed health promotion campaign to support healthy outcomes. Does that make sense so far? You might say for adolescents, maybe texting and driving, not texting and driving, or alcohol, or school age, maybe bullying or nutrition. Maybe something about in adult population, heart disease, asthma, COPD. I don't know, different things, but based on the developmental stage, and then you're going to design this campaign. And if you're coming into the VN or RN program, it will also help you because we do a lot of these things in the program as well, which is kind of where I got the idea. And so this kind of just tells you the things that we're looking at. We are going to talk about social determinants, so that's going to be a component of your project, and how to use professional communication and how to teach something to people and evaluate that it was effective. So there are the checkpoints that I was telling you about. So those are 10 points each. And so it's week 2, 4, 6, 7. So by week 2, hopefully you need to, and there'll be specific steps for each of these, what you need to turn in. Select which developmental stage you want, what your health promotion topic will be, and why you're choosing those. And so that's what you turn in. week 4 would be, again, say we're choosing the infant and the safe sleep. Well, let's see. Okay, yeah, we could, well, that's a little harder to, well, not harder to do. I'm trying to think of an example. We could do, let's do nutrition. We'd say toddler nutrition for toddlers. So like 2-year-olds, right? And so we're going to look, you would look at, and the reason you wanted to do that is you want to promote healthy nutrition for toddlers. You want to, decrease the obesity rate in toddlers, something like that, and or decrease the incidence of heart disease or increase the incidence of diabetes. We're seeing a lot of younger kids with diabetes. So what would the developmental characteristics of a toddler be? Population considerations in terms of social determinants of health, like access to healthcare, access to education, neighborhood and built environment. Like, does it matter where somebody lives if they have good nutrition or not? And then connections to health promotion. What are things that could help promote healthy nutrition for toddlers? Are there different resources in the community? And then week 6, you're going to actually think about the intervention, like what you actually want to do, how you want to teach it, what you would do. Is it just going to be like posters? Is it going to be a brochure? Do you want to go into a school and talk to a preschool group or a group of kids and talk to them? And so what would the strategy be? Do you want to maybe talk to the parents instead of the kids? So maybe your audience would be parents or teachers instead of kids would be your audience. And then what would you want to implement? And then week 7 is where you're going to have everything kind of drafted in terms of the paper and your presentation. And there's actually where you're going to share it in your little learning pod and give each other feedback. So you're not going to show it to the whole class. You're going to share within your learning pod and help each other give feedback before you turn in your final products. Does that make sense so far? I know I'm talking fast. I'm trying to get through everything. It is recorded, so you can watch it again. But these are checkpoints to keep you on track. So you're not doing it all at, oh my gosh, it's due tomorrow. And you have opportunities for feedback. So, okay. So cool. Thank you, Heather. And then there's the health promotion background paper. So that's like 3 to 5 pages, excluding the references. So you're going to include these things that we've already talked about, but also include evidence-based rationale. So you might have to go to the library, which is a resource on the left-hand side here, as well as there's links in the resources, and look up what is good nutrition for a toddler. Why is it important? What does it do developmentally? And also your proposed intervention approach. So this is sort of the background of why you chose it and how you got to this place. And then your actual, the final health promotion campaign, which is worth 100 points. You're going to transform your paper into your health promotion campaign. And so how you're going to educate or advocate to promote this healthy growth and development, whichever stage that you want. And so it can be, educational materials, a presentation. You could do a video, some kind of plan, some other format that you might come up with, and include who your audience is, what's the message that you're trying to get out to people, your strategy, how you're going to implement your plan, like kind of the timeline of your plan, as well as how do you know you were effective. So if you went to the school maybe and talk to the parents, maybe you devise a survey or something that you could send to them a month later to see if they had implemented any of the suggestions from your campaign. And then it tells you the deliverables, which is what the checkpoints for those weeks. Oh, that should be 10 points, not 5 points. My bad. I thought it was worth more than 5 points. So I made it worth 10 points. And then the paper, and then the campaign. So you're going to be working on it throughout the semester, and it's going to bring everything that you've learned incorporated into it. Questions or comments on that? I'll go in and change those points. And I'll make sure that everything's in both Canvas courses. But that's the big project, the capstone, as we call it, to show that you've like really gotten everything, the concepts and everything together. Talked about that. We talked about the resources and then student support and emergency resources, seeing no questions. Um, if you at any point in time, need to talk with somebody, we have a timely care program, which is completely anonymous. There's Panther Learning Lab. So if you need help writing something or working on Canvas, or even in your other classes that you're taking, like math things, there's a math academy, things like that. Panther Learning Labs is a great resource. If you need accommodations, you can go to our Department of Services, our DSPS office. For this particular course, the quizzes don't have time frames. So sometimes an accessibility resource accommodation would be time and a half on a quiz, but the quizzes have no time frame. So students usually don't have accommodations for this course, but you're welcome, obviously, if there's other accommodations, you might need to have those. There is emergency support, emergency syllabus statement, like what to do if there's like a fire or different emergencies on campus. And then there's also if you need help, if you see something that happens on campus or something online that you see, there's resources for you there as well. And then lastly, we will go over week 1 and week 2. And then I will start opening up the other weeks, usually about a week ahead. So, excuse me, by the end of this week, I'll have week 3, maybe week 4 open. I might get more open as we go. But each of the 8 weeks, there's a module, and you will find an overview, and then you will have each lesson, and then you will have a section that says what you have to turn in. So we will look at this. So everybody knows what they have to turn in for week 1. But that's basically the same structure for each week. The overview and then the specific lessons. The overview generally has links to each, and I try to do a walkthrough video. So once I get the walkthrough videos done, I post them so that if you need help. And there's the Sully Sesh that we're doing. You get the course objectives that the lessons refer to. And there's your lesson. Here's your reading. So you click on this, will take you, hopefully, fingers crossed, yes, to a web page that talks about reasons to study growth and development. And then actually this link here, this Lumen link, will take you to that particular link, the open educational resource. You just have to remember which sections you had to read, because you don't have to read all of them. And then researching the scientific method, same thing, theories of growth and development. Each of those lessons you can also get to from the module, but that's the specific lesson that gives you information as well as readings. Or if there's any videos, excuse me, that I want you to watch. Or supplemental materials, that stuff's there as well. And then sometimes I'll just put a section at the bottom, think about it. Sometimes that stuff shows up on a quiz, sometimes not. But just kind of to get you think about or apply what what was in the lesson. And then let's look at the, whoops, hold on, collapse all. Let's look at those things to turn in, because that's the points. That's usually what students want to learn about. So the Google Class chat, that's what y'all are working on right now. And so basically you just go to that link and you say hi, and you get your hi, and I have been sending you GIFs, GIF. I don't know if I thought it was GIF, and then I heard somebody say GIF, like the peanut butter. But that's all you have to do, and you get 5 points for that. And then the other couple assignments you've got, which again, I said some people had done already, there's something called the syllabus review activity. And so there is, you have to read the syllabus. You have to look in the syllabus. And then I haven't looked at this yet, so we'll look at it together for the first time. There is a Google Doc that tells you somehow, yes, there we go. Oh, Kirk, I see what you did, Kirk. There you go. You put your name up there. Your name, needs to go down here, but that's not a problem. So Floor's already written something in here. And these are for, this one is for section 4010, 4011. There's a separate one for 4008 and 4009. You have your own. Each Canvas course has their own. And so Floor said, reading the syllabus, learning structured grades, hopefully, fingers crossed, between 72 hours. Quizzes are open for 4 days, right? So you see each person, thank you for doing different colors. That makes it so much easier. Is you're writing your name. Heather, you've got one in there. Ileana has one there, Emily, right? And so you're just, but the thing is you have to write something that's different. You can't have two people saying the same thing. Everybody has to have something different so that as people keep reading through it, you're learning something different. And then what you have to do is you have to go back to your, you have to then go into the comments. When you go into the actual assignment, there's a comments section that you can write, and you need to add, you need to, where does it say? Write in the comments for the assignment a reflection of how you like the activity, if you liked reviewing the syllabus this way and what you learned from it. Because most people I know just say read the syllabus. I sometimes do a syllabus quiz, but I think this way everybody's like in the syllabus because nobody wants to be the 32nd person to have to look through the syllabus and find something that nobody else has written about yet. And so hopefully that is a good thing. And so once you complete that, I generally put a little check that I've seen it and that I've graded it, and you're good to go with that. Any questions on that? Does that make sense? It looks like a lot of you have already started to do that, so that's good. And then growing together through connection. So this is one of the discussions, and 19 replies already. Awesome. You guys are all over this. I love it. And so share your program of study, what developmental stage interests you, and then one that's challenging to you. And then one factor that supports healthy growth and development at any age. And then respond to at least 3 peers and identify either something that's similar that you share, one similarity or difference it should be one similarity or difference or whatever, one similarity you share and one new perspective or insight you gained from them. And so I will keep track when I go through to grade. Try to remember to put your names in all of your responses because it's easier for me when I go through the grade book to see how many responses that you've done. And so this is for the whole class. This isn't in just your little learning pod. This is everybody. That's what you're going to do. Tells you initial and responses to each person. So 150, 200 for your initial post, 50 to 100 words each for the responses. This tells you they should be meaningful, connected, asking a thoughtful question, that type of thing. Cheyenne is our first person that answered there. And so she's, great there. And then people can go through and answer. So this actually is open. You don't have to post your own response in order to see everybody else's response. So you can actually go in and start replying to other people. So there's that as well. And then your learning pod activity for the week is there. And so it's kind of week 1 and 2 learning pod activity, development in real life. So growth and development, right? It's all around us. I just don't think we think about it. And so each student, you're going to get in your group. So for example, I'm just looking because I have a couple names here. Sarahi, Yasmin, Daniela, and Esau, you guys might be a group. And so you're going to share one example from everyday life that demonstrates growth and development. So these are some different examples. You can come up with your own. You're going to talk about what different concepts might be visible, factors that might support or challenge development, any questions that get raised from that. And then the reflection, the thing that you're going to submit, it tells you right here, your reflection is what surprised you most about the discussion. Did you learn something from each other, hopefully? And so you're going to submit one document, each individual person, I guess I should put that there, submits one document that includes the date that you guys met, how did you meet, how many of you participated, and then the individual reflection. So if you wanted to do one assignment, one document and have each of your names on there, you can do that too. That's fine. Just some of you might not want to see each other's reflections. But you should have on your document then the same, the same date completed format, that kind of thing. And then your individual reflection, which is going to be one new perspective and one connection to course concepts, or your future healthcare role, right? So this is the part that you're turning in down here. So, but you're going to have talked in your learning pod. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. Um, and there should be a rubric for pretty much everything that you turn in. If you don't see a rubric or you have questions, I don't think there's a rubric for the chat because it was basically say hi in the chat. And then week 2 is pretty much the same thing. So I'm not going to do a walkthrough of week 1 and 2 because it's incorporated in this video. Will be incorporated in this video because that's what I will turn this into. But I will do a walkthrough for week 3 because we're going to look at the knowledge check is your quiz. Call it a knowledge check. It's a quiz. It will open at noon on, I don't think that's the right date. Let me double check that date. That doesn't sound right because it should be tomorrow. So week 2 is government influence and social determinants of health. So again, you've got your overview. There's the lesson for each part of the overview, and then the things that you need to turn in. So there is the knowledge check, which is your quiz, right? And then what you have to turn in, this community through the lifespan windshield survey is actually due in week 3, not week 2. So you have 2 weeks to do that particular assignment. And then there's your capstone week 2 check-in, which we already talked about with the capstone assignment, right? That you need to know your developmental group, that type of thing. So you've got that. Looks like people have already turned some stuff in. And then the community through the lifespan windshield survey reflection. You have 2 weeks, like I said, and you're going to, there's a data collection form that you fill out, and then there's a reflection paper that you do. So there's 2 components to it. And let's see, somebody has something in the chat. Oh, you're very welcome. And the objectives, the course objectives that this meets. And so you're going to look at could be your community, could be, your neighborhood, could be a nearby one where you work. Or if you're someplace else for the summer, you could do that as well. But you're going to observe the community and collect some data on it. Could be your neighborhood or another community of interest. Please stay safe. If several of you live in Salinas, you find out that you live near each other, you can go out together and kind of walk through the community if you want. You could also, if you had to, use like Google Maps or there's other virtual things that you can walk through, like look through neighborhoods and things like that. And then you're going to complete the windshield survey tool, which I gave you somewhere, which I will look. Oh, there it is. The survey tool is down there. And complete the windshield survey tool, looking at the social determinants of health, which you learn about in week 2. And then, there can be other things that you might notice that aren't on the tool. And then you're going to also include developing and responding to your own questions. So there's going to be questions on the tool, which I will show you, and then come up with some of your own questions. There's examples of some questions that you could use. So that's part of the data collection tool, windshield survey tool. I encourage you to look up windshield survey because it's kind of a cool concept. And then you do the reflection paper, which is like 2 to 3 pages. And using your observations, respond to the following. So this is in addition to the checklist tool. You're going to describe the community and summarize any major social determinants of health patterns that you observed, how they might influence growth and development across at least 4 of the 4 stages there. I guess I would add preconception and death and dying could be other 2 categories as well. And then thinking about family culture and socioeconomic factors. And then you're going to apply a developmental behavior, social culture concept. So either a concept, you could apply a theory. We talk about theories in week 1, or look up and then look at a Healthy People 2030 objective, which is in the lessons if you don't know about those things. And then conclude with a personal reflection on how healthcare professionals, like you will be one day or may already be, can support growth and development within the community. So basically, you're going out into a community. Here's the windshield survey tool. It's a Google Doc right now. I divided it into sections. It supposed to match up to the social determinants of health. When you go to it, you will see this screen that says copy the document, make a copy. What I did is, cool thing I learned is if I put copy at the end of it, you all get the same thing, but you get your own. It's already made a copy for you. You don't have to click, edit, or whatever, make a copy. Because generally what happens is one student starts to write on it and then it messes it up for everybody else. So this way you already get your own copy of the tool. So don't panic when it says, oh, you get your own. And it'll say copy of windshield survey tool. And so what you want to do would be, I would edit that and I would put Sullinger windshield survey tool, because now then I know when I'm looking at it, it's this particular student's. I also learned about tabs, which is a pretty cool thing. But here's your introduction, tells you why we're doing it, gives you some notes on what you're supposed to include, and then it automatically takes you to the next section. So these are different questions. So here's the questions that you're going to add, the inquiry questions that you're going to add yourself. And if you keep going down, it just automatically goes. Community identity. So here's your questions, right? How is it defined? Like, what's the geographical area? Are there neighborhoods or gathering areas? You answered like 2 questions for that section. Housing and neighborhood. What types of housing? Are the homes maintained? Evidence of environmental concerns. That makes sense? You just keep going through and answering the questions about the community that you're looking at. How do people, what's transportation? Do they have cars? Do they walk? Do they have bicycles? Is it accessible for all developmental stages? Education. There may not be, for example, a college like Hartnell College, is in a neighborhood, but people come from all over the place. So where is the nearest college? Are there grade schools? Are there high schools? Like what kind of education and development? Any youth programs available? Right. And just going through, you just keep going through any hospitals or where is the nearest hospital? I know Castroville doesn't have a pharmacy. That always comes up on a lot of the windshield surveys. We actually do windshield surveys in the nursing program. So this is, again, something that helps get you ready for that. Recreational areas, community centers, parks, libraries, exercise places, businesses, things like that. So that's the tool part of it. And then that's your syllabus thing. And then you have the reflection paper. So putting all that information together. So you turn in both of those things. And then sources of AI. I don't necessarily like AI necessarily, but I use AI a lot. I try to let people know that when I do. But just let me know that you're using AI because I want to know the work is yours, but I can generally tell if it's all AI. I would rather it be some AI and mostly you. So if that makes sense, and this particular one says APA formatting is not required. But if you're going to use references, they should be in a consistent format. So it could be MLA, or whatever format you choose, just make sure it's consistent. And so that basically takes you through your first 2 weeks and kind of how to navigate the course. I know that was a lot. Thank you for still hanging out with me. I appreciate that. And if I can answer any questions, I'm happy to do that. If people are ready to leave, you can do that as well. I'm here if you need me. I will post the link to the chat again in an announcement as soon as we're done here. And I'm really excited to be with you all and learn about you and get to know you better. And so let me stop sharing. And then once the recording has done what it needs to do, then I will post that also. I generally will put that either in the module or also in an announcement. So I'm done with you, but I'm happy. I'll stay in case anybody has questions. Thank you guys too. Nice meeting you all. Get some sleep. Oh, Juan. Ooh, Um, oh, it shouldn't say to do, the Google Chat shouldn't have I took the Google Docs response out. So you just have to say hi in the chat now. I thought I took that part out. Yeah. There used to be one where you had to go in, but that was like way too much. So I took it out, they'll say. So it's just say hi or whatever uh in the chat. Okay. Trying to make it easier. You're very welcome. I'm gonna stop recording. You too. There we go. I want to